Hey guys, ILene Vick here for Teaching Adult Coloring with ILene Vick. It is Wednesday, September 8th at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, and I'm live. Welcome, as always. Welcome to my Facebook peeps. I have both my people that come in and chat, and I have people that just come in and lurk. Either way is fine. Glad to see everybody. And of course, welcome to my YouTube peeps. Hi, Mary. Good to see everybody. Come on in, sit right down. Baby, let your hair hang down. No. All right. I'm so glad to see everybody. I hope everybody is doing well. Well, Vicky, Gesundheit. Yeah. Hey, Rhonda. All right, we've got comments. Yay. Okay. So tonight I'll be working on one of these projects. Always fun to work on something like this. So I've got my Mermaid by Fenech. I've got my Rhapsody in the Forest. And I want to show you a piece that I'm working on that's on the back. I just decided to go ahead and do the back half of it as well. And I think that'll be a pretty fun piece to do. And then I've got our pirate who's being consoled by our mermaid. So lots of things to work on. And I still have my Hannah Carl-Zahn book, Spirit Animals. And I've been working on this little puppy as well. So there's lots to do, always. All right. So let's go ahead and let me pull one of these. Let's go ahead and see what we can do with our mermaid tonight. I've got some more stuff here. So last night I went ahead and colored her hair black. I used brown, black, and blue. And we got a rich color with that. All right. So tonight, I thought I'd go ahead and, let's see, I'm going to work on the face a little bit. And all I'm going to do is just put a little bit of blush on the cheeks. Zoom in. And I'm going to go ahead and give her zoom in. Hi Rita. Zoom in. Zoom in. Zoom in. Some really nice looking lips here. Now I'm going to go ahead and blend those because we've got such a small area. So we'll go ahead and smooth that out. And I don't want to go with too red of a color. And in fact, I'm going to go ahead and highlight that now with a little bit of pink. Hi Helen, how are you? And then I'm going to go ahead and outline just a little bit. Helen, how is the world treating you? There we go. All right, let me grab something here. Excuse me for reaching across. The dogs are doing okay, huh? Okay, and then, oh, so sorry, I didn't mean to keep moving on you like that. Is I'm gonna make sure now that I've got her area over her eyes, of course, colored in. Now, this is going to be a little touchy to try and go ahead and get her eyes colored. Hi, Melissa. I was thinking about you yesterday, Melissa. Zoom in. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put some green on her eyes. Well, let me get a pen that works. That always helps, huh? Now, we don't have a whole heck of a lot of room to work with on her eyes. Oh, yay! Melissa says, thanks, ILene. Feeling some better. Had a decent weekend. Excellent. Well, Miss Melissa, if you don't feel like chatting tonight, sit back, relax. Alright, I'm going to use my Sudan brown. And this is my Brett Funner. And we're going to go ahead and get a little bit of shading on the eye. And notice that I'm going to carry the eyeshadow up into the eye between the lid and the brow. And then on the brow, I'm just going to use a little touch of brown, because she's got, you know, black hair, so darker eyelashes. And this is my Caramel Cafe by Brett Funner. Zoom out. Looking pretty good. All right. And then I'm going to go ahead and she's got a moon tattoo, so let's go ahead and work with that. Now I'm going to go ahead and work with that with browns and golds. This is still my Caramel Cafe. Hi, Stephanie. And then I'm going to take a little bit of gold with that. And this is my Freesia, also by Brett Funner. And I'm going to put a little bit of a gold hint on this. Stephanie, you doing okay today? And notice how this brown and gold are blending together beautifully. All right. No complaints. Steph, I'm doing fine, enjoying being here, of course. Zoom out. So let's go ahead and take a look overall here, what we got. Zoom out. Sandy DeSanto. Hi, Sandy. Zoom out. Zoom out. Come on. Zoom out. Hi, Ashley. Okay, now I want to show you an effect that I want to do across the moon. Zoom out. So we have somewhat of a stormy sky here. Let me grab my shadows. Oops. Okay, Helen, I'll give that some thought. All right, now, but I'm not there yet, Helen. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my gray, and I'm using the side of my applicator. And I'm going to put a little bit of a streak of clouds in front of my moon. Now we want to make that soft, and we want to make it just coming over a little bit here. And I'm just going to work with the horizontal streaks. And then I want that to be very soft. So I'm going to use my finger now to go ahead and spread that out. All right. Let me move my light a little bit. Now don't get carried away with your effect. Any effect that you put on your pieces, you just gotta watch, watch how you do it. All right, now this area that had the artist information on, we can't get rid of that, so I'm just going to go ahead and cover it. And I think we're pretty good here. I think I'm just going to go ahead and add maybe a little bit of a streak here. I think that's enough right there. All right, and then I'm going to use my brush Zoom out. Now you can always go back, of course, and add more effect if it calls for it. But right now I'm pretty happy with that, and I think we're going to be in good shape. There we go. All right. So I pretty much got my moon area done. I still want to tweak here. Now, this moon here that's reflecting in the water, I'm using my light yellow by Starjoy. And I want to go ahead now and blend these shadows together. Now, as I told you when I first did this, I first did the darker, the shadow around her, and then I brought this out. Let me hold on, no. Let me retract that statement. What I did is I put my light shadow, sorry, roughly the width of my moon on here, and then I did a shadow, a little bit of shading in the darker yellow. And now I just want to make sure that that shading is blended. How beautiful is that? All right. Now, I want to go ahead, I'm going to set my base colors for my water. Now, I'm going to show you a little trick. Zoom in. Zoom in. So, I want to make my water blue, right? But I've got yellow moon on here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Arteza gray, dolphin gray, how fitting, A148, and I'm going to put a buffer between the yellow and what I'm going to eventually be putting down blue. Now, here's the thing. When you go to put that blue down, what do yellow and blue make? Green, right? And I'm sorry, I wanted to change that music. That was a little bit spunkier than what I want at the moment. So I'm going to put that buffer of gray down. Now, if you'll remember, I did this when I did the sky. That was going, we had the blue the reds, the blue, and then we had dark colors going up. And I made one of the steps gray, put that gray in between there. Anybody have any question about that? All right, let me adjust you just a little bit. So I've got my eyeshadow out again. And I have got a ton of blues, just a ton to work with. Eyeshadow applicator, 3-inch. And now I'm going to start in with my blues. And I want you to notice now also that with that gray, we've got a nice little halo effect. Hi, Maddie. And now I'm going to put a little turquoise in there as well. So this is where, with your eyeshadow, you want to go ahead and you can mix your colors. How pretty. All right. Same deal over here. Now I'm going with the slightly darker blue. Zoom in. Zoom in. I really should have a piece of paper under this. Hold on. Okay. There we go. And now I'm going back and adding turquoise. See that color right there? And I also want you to notice that, see how this gray juts out at a little bit of an angle? Or a little push here? And that makes it all the more natural. Or natural looking, excuse me, I didn't finish my sentence. I guess that would help, wouldn't it? So I'm going to go ahead and do the same on the other side here. is jut out that gray. And I'm even going to add a little bit of the gray to my blue. So there are all sorts of things here that you can do. Zoom out. Isn't that beautiful? And now I'm going to go back with my Star Joy and I'm just going to very gently and very carefully go over that seam and make sure that we've got that transition between our yellow and our gray. So the trick here is, if you're going from yellow to blue, if the situation calls for it, put a little buffer of gray in there. And that way you won't get some weird greens. All right. Let me brush her off. And of course, guys, it goes without saying, I know a lot of you did get the brush. You've got makeup brushes as well. Keep your areas as clean as possible. Okay. Let me clean my hands off. All right, let's work on her scales. So we have lots of choices to work with on the scales. We could go, you know, with the greens and stuff, but I want to show you something else that I have in mind. This is a salmon pearl orange, and this is also by Brett Funner, and it's one of those colors that has that glowy metallic color. Zoom in. So I'm going to go ahead and give that as my base color. Now, if you have metallic paints that come in the tube, not the tube, the metallic markers, that would be a great way to go with this. All sorts of options. Okay. Now I want you to notice too that I have jogged her skin. And I want you to see too now that there's a transition from her skin to these scales. I love this color, so pretty. Now, one thing I want you to notice, if I stay on camera, is that I'm having some of these scales come in a little darker. So just like anything else, you're going to have a variance in your colors. Got up into my gray. All right. Oh man, what a pretty color. All right, zoom out. And let me get that little spot here where I went ahead and got too far. This is the Salmon Pearl Orange by Brett Funner. Okay, let's look at the whole piece. Zoom out. Zoom out. All right, see how I've got all my colors working together now? I've got the teal that's on the end of the fins here, the tail, and that picks up the blue. I've got the gold, browns, and golds that all pick up the moon. Oh, no problem, Helen. Okay, I have Cocoa Brown by Arteza, and that's A036. Zoom in. Zoom in. Zoom in. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in the darker brown on the tail. Zoom in. And then I'm going to start working that darker color towards the edges. And that's where we're going to start getting our dimension on our tail. Now, I want to remind you that we've got her sitting in front of the moon. Zoom out. Zoom out. And so her area back here is going to be a little darker. And if she were in the sunlight, she would be a beautiful, beautiful gold color. So what we want to do now is we really want to emphasize the shape of her backside. And notice how I'm blending that in now. You want that very, very soft. people in mermaids don't go around with distinct lines on them. Okay, let me turn that around. Now, Selina Fenech likes the heavier lines on her pages, so we're stuck with working with that. So I make sure that I'm going out with my brown right out to the edge and blending that in. Isn't that pretty? All right. And notice I've got a little bit of extra brown right here to give that some texture. Now I'm going to go through and start to detail a little bit. And what I'm doing now is I'm going ahead and I'm shading in the swirls on the scales. And I'm still using my Arteza Cocoa Brown to do that. Zoom in. Zoom in. Does everybody see how I'm getting that? How pretty is that? And as I progress with this, you can see how that pattern is really picking up. Now, I could have done it this way, but you want to go with the flow of the way that her tail is sitting. Let's see what we got here. Oh, Maddie says she's coloring with Lyra pencils. Lyra. I've had them a long time, but don't use them much. They're smooth and I love them. Hi, Angela. How pretty is that? Angela. It gets kind of lonely when our Australia group isn't here. Now, this area right here where she's sitting and everything is basically folded over on itself, you want to go a little bit wider with that shadow, right? So this is where her scales are bunched up. So that's why we want to go a little bit darker. Hi Terry, we haven't seen you for a while. How did your visit go with your dad in Alabama? I hope your dad is well. Now make sure that when you're darkening in between your scales that it doesn't get too streaky. Maddie says I'm doing well because I'm coloring. You go, girl, that's right. Oh, how pretty is this? Zoom out. Look at that. Zoom out. Questions about anything that I did, guys? Now I'm going to go ahead and darken the tail of just this section here just a little bit more. And guys, I don't want you to be afraid of your colors. Okay, Rhonda. See you in a little bit. Zoom out. Zoom out. Look how beautifully this is all coming together. Okay. Now I've got a really pretty, let's see. I have a really pretty Zenicolor pink. Love this color. CP 081. And what I'm going to do now is use that very light color to go over my overall scales. Zoom in. Zoom in. Now this is adding a nice little glow to her skin color. And that's what I wanted on this. So this is giving me a nice rich color. All right. And again, I want you to notice that when you put an overall color like this, it does not disturb your shading that you've already put down on the piece. Now these pink streaks right here that I have, those were marks. Those were just general skin marks, sun marks, whatever you want to call them. Bumping up against a reef. Zoom out. And we'll go ahead and smooth that as well. Okay. So now I'm going to depend on my alcohol markers for these little flowers. Zoom in. Zoom in. Now I'm going to go ahead and add a little touch of green on here. These are my water-based Ohuhus, and this is color number 99. And then I'm going to put a blue on there. So as you can see, I'm concentrating. Zoom in. Zoom in. I'm concentrating on ocean colors. Now, if you want your flowers to be more prominent, hold on, let me find this one here for you. Oops, there we go. I knew it was there someplace. If you want your flowers to be more prominent, make them yellow, make them orange. It's totally up to you. So Maddie says that she's coloring her ocean blue, purple, and green. Yep. Now, I don't want these flowers to be very prominent. So that's why I'm going ahead and coloring them the darker blue. I want them to basically blend in with the hair. So I'm going to make a black center. Now, I want to show you another little trick on the hair. Zoom out. Zoom out. And I've got, it looks like I missed 2 dots. I got to remind myself to put those in there. So I want to go ahead and put in a little more dimension in my hair. Okay, Rhonda, thank you for letting me know that you were stepping out and that you're back. Now, I don't have anything on the other side of my piece, right? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my black Sharpie marker and I'm going to go into those areas of the hair that would have a shadow. We've talked about that before, where the hair crosses over. And I'm going to add that shading in. And I also want you to notice too that right at the part at the top of the hair, I'm bringing down my black on either side. Now, you wouldn't think that it makes a difference, but it does. I want her hair to be very, very dark. So that's why I'm using both the Sharpie marker and the shading. And doing the shading. Zoom out. Anybody have any question about that as to why? And you can see now how rich that is coming in. So if I were doing her hair in red, for example, I would be shading where it crosses over in my various pencils, my browns. Questions? Now remember that you're coloring with this over pencil, so you're going to have to clean off your point quite a bit. I'm going to have to get a new marker after this, which is fine. I've got a bunch of them. Now remember, we've got shades of brown in this hair, and that's picking up the browns that are on her scales. And the golds from the moon. Okay. Zoom out. Zoom out. And one more little touch, and I think I'm going to call this puppy done. see here. I've got to add 2 drops of my Ranger liquid pearls because I miss spots. There we go. And you know, for that matter, if you want to go ahead and add a couple more spots, that's fine. All right, let me tap the back like I've shown you. And one more little touch, and we're done with this. Now, I have a beautiful, beautiful coppery color in this glitter glue. So what I'm going to do is, aha! Glitter up her scales a little bit. Zoom in. Zoom in. Zoom in. Now this glitter glue will settle in and flatten out a little bit, so I'm not putting too much on these individual scales. Zoom in. Hi, Wanda. And I also want you to notice too, Wandy is in the room, that I'm not disturbing the shading that I put on these scales, right? So that's why I'm taking the time to go ahead and just put the dots in between my on each individual scale. So in other words, I'm not just grouping a line, and I'm making sure that there's a gap to the sides. And oh my gosh, does this make this look pretty? Woo! Isn't that copper color pretty? Can you guys see the detail? Zoom in. Zoom in. Zoom in. That's right, and all the things on earth will grow strangely dim. That's right. Pretty song, isn't it? Da, 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 da. Oh, teary, yeah. Da, 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 da. Dum, da, da, dum. Da, dum. Da, da, dum. Now, what I want you to notice too is with that dark black or dark brown that I put on here, that's making my copper glitter take on a really neat color. Zoom out. Zoom out. Zoom out. Let me get this out from behind so you can see. Zoom in. All right, so there you go, guys. We've got our moonscape. I showed you how to make a transparent tail fin. We colored up the skin. I showed you how to do the hair and highlight it. And we've got that glitter on her scales. Zoom out. And then I showed you how to put the streaks across the moon. zoom out. We'll go just a little wider so you can see it. And I need to grab some water. Questions? Any technique that you found particularly interesting? Hi, Angela. Long time no see. I think one little extra thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of this light blue and I'm going to go ahead and put that on my water. Okay, so you've been busy with school. Yep, I knew that. It's starting to slow down. You need to finish this class, and then I'm on a 10-week vacation. Okay, zoom in, zoom in, leave. Okay, all right. So what I'm doing is I'm going ahead and I'm adding some light glitter to this water. Now, I don't want to go any darker with my glitter. And the reason for that is I just want it to be a very subtle addition to the piece. Your phone is strange, Maddie. So I want you to notice now that this blue is just basically blending into my background. And this glitter glue, zoom in, zoom in. I don't think that's your phone. I've had problems with that on Facebook as well. Now, as I've always said, don't get stupid with your embellishments here. Keep it classy. Okay. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull my yellow. Mellow yellow. Oh my gosh, I love this case that I showed you guys. glitter glue. And actually I'm pulling a goldish color. So this is my gold. And you know, these don't have any names on them, but that's okay. For color. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put a little bit of glitter on my moon shadow. How pretty is that? Well, Maddie, aren't we all temperamental? And one more area that I'm going to add a little bit of this gold glitter is to our moon tattoo. Oh gosh, how pretty is that? There we go. Zoom out. So you can see how that glitter is looking. This will dry beautifully. Let me see if I can angle it now to show you it. Zoom in. There you go. And remember that glitter, like I said, is going to spread just a little bit as it dries. So you need to account for that. Can everybody see that? See that glitter? Zoom out. I think we're good. All right. Let me take a second to put my glitters away. All right. Any particular questions about the project itself? Okay. And hopefully you learned something new in doing this, and particularly how to make something transparent by just drawing the image in the back. All right, so we're done there. We are done. get that. No, I'm not going to add anything to the sky. I'm fine with it. What were you thinking, Maddie? I wanted to keep the sky relatively plain, but I did add the clouds in front of the moon. I'm going to let my glitter dry, and if I decide to add anything, I'll let you guys know. Anybody have any questions about how to make something transparent? That's how you do it. I actually really intended just to show you, and then I just kept going with it. All right. So I've been playing around with this piece as well. Remember, this is where I cut out the back and I added the textured paper, not textured, colored paper, pattern paper. I'll get there. So this whole area is pattern paper, and then I went ahead and colored on it. I got the greenery colored in, wanted to show you that. And now what I want to do is play around with the roof a little bit. So we've got a change of pace here.
I'm listening.
And that was Siri.
I'm not sure I understand.
Thank you, Siri. Okay, so I went ahead and I drew some rounded tiles on here, and I did that initially in pencil. So now I'm going to go back in and darken those up because I like them. Zoom in. I was not happy with the pattern line that the artist had put in. They just put horizontal lines across here. I don't know why. To me it looked really funny. So I whited those out with my Arteza pen. I've shown you in the past how to do that. And I've added some decorative tiles. Now, I don't want you guys worried about drawing in your books. You can pretty well match the artist's style. We've talked about the perspective on this piece. It's not the best. And I don't know if you guys noticed it, but I noticed it. That's just my background, my engineering background actually. Maddie sees it because of her artistic background. Let's see here. And there you go. Ah, I'm so sorry. Didn't mean to hit that. Now, you can see that this chimney is way callywumped. So if you look at this chimney, zoom in. This line here was a line that the artist had put in, but when they drew in the chimney, she started at the edge, but then came down with it instead of going across with it. And that's making this whole thing look weird. So I'm going to go ahead and take my Arteza pen and white that area out, and I'll fix it after that dries. Everybody see where that's weird? All right. So now I'm just going to do a little bit of cleanup. Excuse me here. And what I want to do here is I'm going to put on, zoom out, a reddish roof. And the reason we can do that is because we've got red and oranges in our trees, so that will match beautifully. And again, guys, don't be afraid of your colors. zoom in. So you're doing a picture of daisies. What would be a good background color? How much sky is there, Terry? You could go with a light blue, I think would look good. Are the daisies indoor or outdoor? Are they in a vase? Blue or pink I think would look really good. Oh, excuse me. So the daisies are outdoors. I need a little more context. Not in a vase, it's like a, oh, okay, it's like a collage. I gotcha. I think a blue or a pink would look great. I think a light green would look good too. Anybody else have some suggestions? The other thing you could do is go with a black background in between the daisies. That would really make it look bright. Be sure when you post that you quote the artist in the book. Okay. How far have you colored it, Terry? Oh, one daisy. Even before you make a background decision, I'd be going ahead and coloring up the daisies and then looking at it. That's one of the things that I talk a lot about, is let your piece, as you're working your piece, that'll start helping you with colors. Okay. How pretty is that? So, let's go ahead and get that blended. Well, Terry, having not looked at it, I think that potentially, if it's a collage, that a black background would look really pretty. Okay, so I'm getting this roof blended in. Well, post your daisies in the group, mention the artist and the book, and see what people think. But it's pretty early if you only got one daisy done. Okay. So I'm going ahead now and I'm working my reds into my roof and my underside here. And I'm going to go ahead and carefully now erase the pencil line around these loops. Now you got to be careful because I've got Arteza pen on here from the horizontal roof lines, so I'm just making sure I don't wipe that out. And I'm going to get rid of these bricks that I put on here. Clean this off. And I'm going to draw my line in now to make sure that there's better perspective on this silly chimney. There you go. That's a little better. All right. So basically same color with my shingles here. And you'll see the method to my madness in a moment. When you're using your electric eraser, it seems to smear things. Change your pressure and see. Try either way and see if it makes a difference. I've never had that problem. Make sure that your eraser nib is clean, of course. And you may want to change the angle that you're holding your eraser. You may want to be more up and down. How long have you had your electric eraser, Terry? Excuse me, Terry. A week or so. Could be an angle problem. You don't want to drive your eraser into the paper. That burns up your motor. Oh, you'll see how pretty this is looking now. Zoom out. Zoom out. How pretty is that? Now notice that I've picked up from the browns here. We've got grays here that we're working with. We've got browns here, again, oranges and red in the trees. So we have lots of latitude. Zoom in. We have lots and lots of latitude for the colors on this roof. All right. So I blended in that side of it. Now, given that I've got the Arteza pencil on here, I've got to be careful how I blend. So I have to blend now on either side of where I put that gel pen. Just be aware of that. Zoom in. How beautiful is that? Okay. Now, don't worry about some of this white scratchiness. That's going to go away. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a nice brown. And this is my Caramel Cafe. And this is the Brett Funner. And you know what, Wanda, I hope you're still here. I just noticed that there are pencil numbers on these etched into the side of the pencil. Did you know that that was there? Interesting. Didn't even know that was there. I just saw it because I've got it underneath, under my camera. So Wanda, you'll have to let me know if you knew that that was there. You knew it was there. Never knew it. So what I'm doing now is I'm working a little bit of brown now into the red. And look at the difference now between this brown and this roof here. The color is absolutely beautiful, and you can see it between here and here as well. So I don't want you to be afraid to combine your colors like this, because the depth that you get out of it is phenomenal. There we go. All right, so let's roll this around. And what I want you to notice now is I'm going ahead and adding this brown to what would be the individual shingles here. And that's starting to create dimension on my roof over here. Okay. See the difference now? zoom out. So let's take a look now of what we've got so far. And I'm going to use my Prismacolor Espresso PC 1099. And now I'm going to go in and I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to start darkening my areas between my slats, for lack of a better word to call them. And notice how even if you get a little bumpy in there that you're trying to go ahead and color, that adds to the look of the roof. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to color this and come up and then come back down. See how I'm doing that? So basically, I'm scuffing up the roof with this brown. And I'm going ahead and shading that at the top because that's where you would expect that scuffing to be. Questions, thoughts? And same with this roof underneath. I'm going to go ahead and bring that brown down, come up a little bit. And that'll show where. Okay. So I'm going to come down, come over, come down, come over. Come down, come over. So right where all those joists are, we're showing where on the house. All right. Everybody see how cool that looks? Okay, Terry, thanks. All right, so I'm here. Same type of thing is I'm going to go ahead and color in a little darker along my seam lines. And then we'll come in a little bit. So what that's doing is that's making these divisions cleaner and more clear, and it's making my little tabs look more dimensional. Am I the only one that this reminds you of command hooks? You know, that loop that they have on there? How pretty is that? Hello, Jean. Woohoo! Good to see you. We are coloring up our duck pond and the roof. Zoom out. Anybody have any questions about any of the techniques that I'm using here? Good night, Miss Kathy. Alright, and let me go ahead and clean off my chimney a little bit. Like I said, that perspective was bothering me. Kathy, I'm so glad you could make it tonight. Kathy, are you keeping up with what I taught you? Okay. All right. Juan, did she post a picture? I can't look at it right now, of course. Oh, let me stretch. Alright, so I'm just adding a little bit shading of blue because I had to erase there. Now, this window has been bugging me, no end. So I'm going to take my protractor. I'm going to do a little bit of addition on here. Zoom in. Zoom in. Zoom in. Hold on, camera adjustment. Oh, you're having a hard time keeping your eyes open. Okay. A rose window. Well, Kathy, don't get too tired because that can also cause problems. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add a center pane to this. Very light line with my pencil. We've talked about using pencil very carefully. And I'm happy with that line, so I am going to ink it in. Okay, Kathy, we'll see you Friday. Now, the one thing that I had to watch with this window when I put it in is I didn't want to make that horizontal line level with my siding. Zoom out. And I'm going to go in and outline this window because I want that to be a little different than my other ones with my black. Zoom in. Zoom in. Zoom out. All right, so now we've got our window defined. And of course, just make sure that your black is even. All right. Now, I've got 2 sets of shutters. We don't have very much more to go on this at all. Zoom in. All right. So on these shutters, and it's going to get a little tricky because we've got shutters right here behind these leaves. And I'm using my Faber-Castell Red 225. Now, it was a little wonky because we had to dodge these leaves, but that's okay. Now, you may be wondering why I used red when I've got red leaves. That's because I don't want that window to be sticking out like a sore thumb. All right. So I'm going ahead and I'm coloring these shutters red as well. And I'm sorry, I really drawing them blinds. How pretty. And I've got a little bit of pencil in here, so I'm just going to go ahead and pop that out. It's amazing how accurate you get with your electric sharpener or electric eraser. All right, zoom out. So I'm using my eraser to just clean up that little window at the top. A couple more things on here, guys, and we're basically done with it. So I'm still using my same red. I hate this chimney, but I'm going to go ahead and color it a brick red. Now, this is a perfect example where you can see the lines that are on the chimney from my pencil. I knew that that would do that. And so that's giving me the illusion of a little bit of brick and or stonework. Everybody see those lines? Zoom in. That's why you've got to be careful using something like a mechanical pencil. Oh, this perspective. See, that perspective on the top is wrong. Maddie, help me. And then I'm just going to go ahead and blend a little bit of my brown in there. This is my Caramel Cafe Bread Funner number 74, now that I know where the numbers are. Brown and red are absolutely gorgeous colors together. Okay, now the other thing I want to show you, these are the little details for fun. Well, it's all fun. I'm going to use my Black Beauty Bread Funner. Let's see if I can read that number. Hold on. Yep. And this is my Bread Funner Black Beauty 435. Yeah, remember we were talking about the direction of the houses as well. Okay, so what I want you to see is I'm taking this black and I am emphasizing it around the base of the chimney. And notice that I'm coming up on the chimney a little bit. And then also notice too that I'm coming down with my black a little bit. And notice how I'm bringing that down quite a bit on the roof. There we go. Guys, it takes so little to make your piece look really terrific. It really does. Okay, and then I just am smoothing out my red with my pencil. Oh my gosh, guys, one more door. Let me clean this up a little bit. Now, my sky is the pink paper that I cut out and put on the back here. All right, so back door. I'm gonna go ahead and put a little bit of red on that. And this is my Faber-Castell Dark Red 225. And again, guys, remember, when you add a second color like this, you're both blending and you're adding a dimensional effect, which is really cool. And I'm carrying that to the floorboards of the deck, which I want you to notice are a different color than the front portion here. And I'm just going back and finishing this rail. And I'm using my Salmon Pearl Orange from Brett Funner, number 498, it looks like. Yep. And look how we have a nice orange color. And I also noticed just now that I didn't color in my little supports. So I'm using my Caramel Cafe. And I'm now going back over it with my Salmon Pearl Orange. Okay. And then the door window, I'm going to take my Empire Yellow color 20 from Brett Funner, 520, and I'm just going to go ahead and highlight my cross pieces. Just a little bit of yellow. And the last place that I'm going to put in my yellow, a little bit here on an angle, just to indicate my window. And I'm also going to put a little bit of yellow up here. Okay, zoom out, zoom out, zoom out, questions? Now I'm going to take my Faber-Castell Ivory, and that's my 103, and I'm going to smooth my woodwork a little bit. Now this ivory is a beautiful, beautiful neutral color. It's non-intrusive, and anywhere that you have something that's looking a little bumpy or rough, you can go ahead and go over it and it will smooth it out. Now, obviously not all pieces are conducive to that. This wood was. And this is where you go ahead and do your little bit of touch-up, okay? Oh, one more little area. So I've got my Arteza Gray. This is A146. Excuse me, 148. And notice how I'm using this lighter gray now. Zoom in. Zoom in. Notice how I'm using this lighter gray now to blend in the rock. This one I'd already done. Zoom out. Zoom out. Now my water wheel is a little bit rougher than what I want. So same thing here with my ivory. I'm going to go in and just smooth that out a little bit. And what I would do if I were you guys, I would either go to Amazon or Dick Blick and I would buy 4 or 5 of this ivory from the Faber-Castell. And again, that is color number 103. And Wanda was kind enough to remind me that those stars are light fastness. I honestly don't pay attention to that because I don't do professional portraits. All right, questions, comments? So again, guys, this was the piece that I cut out, this major portion, and the paper had these little swirlies on it. And then I came through and I added some more. I'm just going to dull this blue down just a little bit. So this is now my tweaking phase. Cool. All right, we good? I'm about to wrap up, Sandy. It's time. Sandy, thank you so much for being here tonight. Well, I'm glad that you've learned, and I'm glad that you're enjoying my group, sweetie. Okay. Look how pretty that is by taking now my ivory pencil and going over everything and softening up these colors. Look how pretty that looks and soft. Isn't that cool? Okay. I'm a little bit early, but it's really too late to start any projects. Does anybody need any prayer before I go? And look how soft now these shingles are looking. I'm sorry, Angela, you wouldn't have thought of what, please? Oh, using the ivory. Okay. I like it better than the white because it's not as in your face. It's a just really soft way to blend it. Okay, I just need to erase one teeny tiny thing. Zoom in. I think we are in good shape. I'll tell you what, guys, it adds a whole new look to the piece. We want to soften everything. And this ivory has that way of doing that without really adding a lightening, too much of a lightening effect. As far as lightening the colors, I love what it does. It mutes them just enough. Now again, as I always tell you, don't go wild with it. Practice it. Terry, you still with us? And if you are, what I would suggest that you do is that you make a copy of your daisy picture that you're coloring and experiment with some background colors. Yep, I'm happy with this. Okay, guys, I hope you had as good of a time tonight as I did. Yeah, as Wanda mentioned, she loves the ivory. It's not bright like the white, exactly, and it's not yellow like the creams. Perfect. It's perfect. Zoom out. And again, except for my little tweaking, I'm basically calling this done. I guess Terry's left. Guys, if you're going to leave, please let me know so I don't talk to dead air. Alright, guys, love ya. I hope you had fun. And Rhonda, by the way, thank you so much for the gift certificate to Amazon. It's very much appreciated. That was wonderful. I was able to pick up a supply that I needed. Guys, take care. Love ya. Joyous, joyous coloring. Bye.